So I want to talk about Flawed Villain. There is this social media socialite, I guess we could call her, named Flawed Villain. She's a white woman, brunette or dark, or black hair, and she basically apparently talks. I don't watch her content. I didn't even know about her until today, and she apparently talks about a lot of feminist things, and she's got a very big, or she had a very big feminist audience. People, mostly women who were really appreciating her content and going to her for. Sorry about that, you guys. I had a little issue, and I'm having some like issues with my shoulder, something I carried my groceries the wrong way, and now I'm like fucked up. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But long story short, that's what she is. That's what she does. And she just was exposed for being pretty racist, anti-black in particular, calling black women gremlins and things like that. And she also has been exposed, it had to be something else because usually it's not just anti-blackness that'll get you canceled. She also was exposed for being betraying the majority of her audience and being a Trump supporter. She voted for Trump, and a lot of her views on women, like power and like how women shouldn't have power because women haven't had power and it's not going to work. So that's why she didn't vote for Kamala and all this other stuff. You know, it's just really funny. But this brings to mind a conversation that I've been wanting to have with people for a minute about who we choose to pedestal. We often have this issue in this society. They had it with Sam Bankman Fried and his crypto scam. They had it with all these white people and their crypto scams. And there are other people who have done crypto scams as well who are not white. I understand that. But the majority of the people who people think are so prolific and are these great savants are white and who they think to look up to in mass, en masse. And you look at Sam Bankman Fried, you look at Mr. Beast, you look at um, this situation with Flawed Villain, you look at um, all of these white creators who have come out and had to make apology videos and stuff over the years because they were racist and anti-black and all this other stuff. And it's just crazy because it's just like, I feel like the reason that people keep having this issue is because we live in a white supremacist society that touts whiteness as the be all end all, the creme de la creme. So people end up automatically being attracted to these people. And they were kind of having this conversation with the Sabrina Carpenter situation. Now, personally, I don't believe that just because white women get better privilege in society, that they shouldn't be able to do something like play into the tropes of women being slutty and being man's best friend, being a bitch, all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see if she was going in that direction, which she could totally not be. I see validity in that, in her still being able to be considered a feminist and things like that. Like, I don't think that you can't be sexy just because, or you can't be performing even for the male gaze and still not be a feminist. Like, I don't think that those two are mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying, or what have you. So yeah, but people are upset at Sabrina Carpenter's album because it has what looks like a guy's hand pulling her hair and she's on all fours, and the title of it is Man's Best Friend. And I think she's just an artist, and I'm looking forward to, not really because I don't really listen to Sabrina like that. I'm going to check her out, but I don't know her music like that, so I can't really speak to that. But it seems to be a very artistic move to me. But it's kind of like the conversation that people were having there when they were talking about, like, let's say Sabrina Carpenter isn't a girl's girl, like you thought she was. We need to stop We need to start using discernment and stop pedestaling it and having parasocial relationships with these people who we don't know. We can't confirm their politics and things like that because we don't have the capability. We don't have the relationship with them to really be able to, see into these things and see what's up. So, sorry guys. But this is what we end up having to deal with. So it's just like, it brings me to this, obviously, this conversation and how we keep putting these white people in positions of power. Like, if you touted more people who come from the most marginalized communities, which are not going to be white women, if you touted more people like that and you targeted following and supporting more people like us, then, trans women, cisgender black women, um, 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 uh, um, uh, uh, Arab women, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, people don't want to do that. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to be a feminist, but they also want to operate within and become within their comforts of white supremacy that they're accustomed to. And it's like, yeah, we know you're accustomed to mostly seeing white women and men in your life and supporting them and what they do and this, that, and the third. But that's a part of why we're in this problem, in this mess in the first place, and why we can't get out of it. Because the majority of people, which are never going to just be black people or whatever, are not looking to black people. They're not looking to other people for anything other than entertainment or what they want in a particular moment. They're not looking to them as the leaders of certain realms the way that they're looking to white people. So you keep dealing with this stuff because a lot of people are going to take advantage of that. If I was a white person and I was like a scoundrel, a scam artist, a con artist, I would have it so easy for me. I'd have it so easy whether I was a man or a woman because I would be able to, even if I was trans, even if I was exactly who I am right now, but I was trans, you know what I'm saying? Or excuse me, but I was white. I would still have a better opportunity to get certain things done and to build a following and to make money off of my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just do. That's why old girl was on the Pepsi or the beers, whatever. I think it was both. Old girl, Dylan Mulvaney. I never watched her content, never followed her, anything like that. But just another example of a person who is privileged, you know, and able to do all of these things that pull you in even more because they already have that privilege, and then you give them more, which sets them up even better to be able to produce this amazing content. So you can't just say, oh, it's because they make great content, because everybody don't start off making great content. But when you give them your support, they can do that, you know? I just had all of my music taken down from the streaming services because of one song not having the proper documentation or vetting for the backing track to the song, the original song that I wrote to it. So they took that one down and my whole freaking catalog. Now I'm re-uploading my catalog. But if I had the money to be able, if I had support from my fans and the money to be able to, that would come from that, to be able to support myself in my musical career, then I could market my stuff better. I'd have money for that. I could get better equipment to make better music, get my sound better. I could get beats and actually buy them from people instead of getting ones that are free, but I don't know the exact logistics of when I'm supposed to use it and when I can't use it and what I can use it for because I'm not, doing what I need to be doing to, be privy to that information. So it's just like it makes it easier, you know. And it reminds me of this, like I just made a video before this about whiteness and how it's affecting me in higher education and how it's very difficult to trust white people because everywhere you turn, at least in my situation and a lot of people's situations I know, anecdotally, admittedly, but also through the evidence, of, statistics and surveys and what have you. I will bring out the evidence in future videos. It is very difficult to trust white people and to be safe. So, In that video, I shouted out this channel, Introvert Rockstar, who has the slave symbol, St. Louis and New Orleans symbol in between Introvert and Rockstar. And I think he's fooling. And I told him so in one of the first lives that I saw him. And what do you call it? Um, what's it called? I've been watching his content for a minute. He never fails to like a comment, respond to it, what have you. Until I made it that video, and then after I made that video, and in that video I did divulge, of course, that I'm trans because I have no problem admitting it. And what do you call it? I don't know. To me, it seems that that's the reason because every time I deal with Black content creators, they have a problem with me when they find out that I'm trans, or they don't want to talk, they don't want to interact anymore, they don't want to do business anymore. I had a Black creator, Taylor House Publishing, who told me that he was going to work with me. He wanted me to send over all this other stuff. He proposed this idea of us having a show together, all kinds of stuff. I thought it was kind of weird because we had just met. Even though I had been watching his content for a minute and supporting him for a minute, he never interacted with me until something I disagreed with. And then, of course, that's when, we got all these problems. But we got past it. And I just didn't like the way that he was representing trans women in this story because he never talks about trans women and him being a Black man. The only time, of course, that he talked about him was when it was a situation within which a trans woman was killed because she allegedly, because he's alleging that she didn't tell the man. But it's like we don't really know that, and we're still learning the details of the case. So it's like I was just sick of that narrative being put out there. And even if it was the case in that particular situation, why are these the only times that you all talk about trans women? That's problematic because if you don't like us and if you don't agree with us and all this other stuff, whatever the fuck that means, then you don't get to demonize us only, and that's the only free coverage that you put out about us. Like, that's obviously problematic. That's going to continue to teach the community of people who are like-minded like you that we are nothing but trouble. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you have a responsibility when you are a media personality to put out things that are not just one-sided about a community. I have a lot of problems with racism, and that's the majority of my content is what it surrounds. That doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit here and say, fuck white people. I wish they would so. I still have to acknowledge that, and I still put positive things out and say positive things about white people. So, and white culture. So, I mean, I kind of have to because I like a lot of it. So, it's just, it's ridiculous. But anyway, he did not respond to my comment on his video. He didn't respond to the video that I made tagging him in it. And he responded to everybody else's comments under his video except mine. I was literally like the only one for like miles of comments. And definitely the only one who left a comment within the past 2 days at that point that I had checked. So I went and I checked through one of my other channels and I saw that I couldn't even find my comment. So it seems that he's hidden me from his channel. And it's just funny because in that comment I mentioned that I had, tagged him in a video, all this other stuff. So I don't know if he just didn't want people to know about that and be able to find the video or what. But it's just really funny because it's just like, this is what we do. And this is why I say this is why people are saying, and I'm saying, you got to use discernment. You've got to really use discernment. And it's not always going to work, sometimes you go use your discernment and you're still going to end up falling for some bullshit or the okie doke. But you'll have a better chance of not falling for it if you trust your intuition. And I can't sit here and say that my intuition didn't tell me that, he was like this. And a part of that is, and why I didn't listen to it is because it's also this, feeling of just like, this knowledge that the majority of this demographic, Black men and Black women, don't have good feelings, especially Black men, about people who are trans, especially trans women. So those are the only ones they really talk about. So, it's like I be trying to give people chances because it's like at the same time, I don't want to just judge you based on your demographic. We're trying to get away from that. But, like in that other video, when do you know, like, when do you get to the point at which it's like, okay, enough is enough? You've gone through this too many times with this demographic, whether it be white people, like in my other video, or black people, like in this video. Isn't it crazy? Telling you the life of a trans woman. I'm telling you, a black trans woman. Like, it's bad enough being, it's hard enough out here being trans, but being black and trans, when your whole community has a, what, like the top thing about your community is that they do not like people in the LGBTQI community and definitely don't like trans women. It's really difficult, especially when you are pro-black and all this other stuff, because it's like you're fighting for a community of people who would not do the same, a lot of them, for you. They wouldn't fight for you. They wouldn't do anything for you. As a matter of fact, they might fight your ass and kill your ass. So it's unfortunate, and that's why that never deterred me. Arab sentiments, Islamic or Muslim sentiments, pro or anti-gay or anti-trans sentiments never deterred me from supporting Palestinians, because it's like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you don't have to support me for me to support that you shouldn't be wiped off the face of this earth with your people. Like, you know? And it's the same thing with black people. What am I going to say? Oh, okay, so fuck black people. I'm black. So we got to make it work somehow. So I just wanted to get on here and put this out here, because I'm sick of people not using discernment and then constantly wondering, oh, well, how did I get in this situation? How did you get in this situation? Did you follow the crowd? Are you making your own decisions, using your own intuition? Start to understand that you're more than a sack of meat. There are things about this body that you're given that can help you. Things in this atmosphere, in this environment, that can help you if you know how to use them. You know how to use your body. So, we need to really get that, and not just your physical body. So we really need to get that situated, and start discerning more. Honestly, I'm watching a lot more people. Like I said in the beginning, I'm watching a lot more people who are non-white, and a lot more focusing more on what I want to see: trans people, black people, um, gender non-binary people, women. But I'll see you next time.